All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Thank you for everybody being here tonight. Our first order of business is our first public comment period. So if you'd like to address the board.
I'll address, just introduce. My name is Robert Walters. I just moved here.
Okay.
I'm from Cleveland. My wife and I retired here. I played in the Cleveland Orchestra.
Really?
And we love the area. We're just really happy to be here.
So you just stopped by to see what's going on?
Yeah, well, I just been reading
Wonderful.
went on the website trying to, see how the town.
Well, welcome to Chatham.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
2 Line Street.
Okay.
The Hill.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to
Thanks for
have
coming
you
out.
stop.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep it pain-free.
We'll try.
We'll start with department and committee reports. So we'll start with the building department. Aaron.
Yes.
Were you out walking earlier?
I was,
You didn't
yes.
wait for me.
I couldn't tell it was you and me, you were right next to me.
I
No
don't like
lights.
it.
Okay, so 7 building permits were issued, 1 zoning permit was issued for historic review. Had 1 new complaint, 1 title search, CO search. No certificate of occupancies were issued, 5 compliance certificates were issued, 3 applications were withdrawn from the planning board and zoning board reviews. COs are issued for places of occupancy, CCs for building and or zoning compliance verification, and a withdrawn application is to completely be disregarded from any future reviews of that property. 7 permit construction inspections were done to complaint inspections, and $1,085 in payments for building permits, title searches, planning and zoning board applications.
Thank you. Any questions for Aaron? Hearing none. Just a point of information, Pete contacted Des and said he couldn't make it tonight, obviously. He's got something else going on. So we'll start Chief Alessi.
So our 2 new crossing guards went through their first training, 2 shifts of training. They're doing well. They have a lot of experience from their time in Massachusetts, and we expect to have them on their own the first week in December. So they'll be through the training that they need to just after the holidays. Town of Chatham services are going well. We actually got a request that the town actually approved to help out the synagogue when the sheriff's office has trouble covering that shift for security. So the town basically agreed to be a pass-through and approve those shifts when the synagogue needs extra help, especially in the light of today's society and things like that. Traffic on Oslet Street we will talk about in resolutions more. Security cameras, the cameras are up in the building, Tracy. They're basically all around the building, they're inside. The last camera I have needs to go upstairs at the top of the staircase. I just haven't gotten up there. I'm going to be working with the office to get the monitor set up or a screen set up in the corner so that they can see the cameras while they're in here. New patrol car, we'll go through that in the resolutions. Yearly training, so we published the yearly training. This includes the violence in the workplace that Sam talked about last meeting and the meeting before, as well as whatever the other mandatory one was. They were all assigned as part of our yearly training, online training for the officers. We have Thanksgiving holiday coming up. We have the turkey trot that goes on, and then we'll also be doing enhanced Stop DWI patrols as part of the Stop DWI grant, which we did again get that grant for the next year. So we'll have that money that we use towards some enhanced enforcement. And that's all I have for this portion.
All right, Joe's got a number of items that are coming up.
Joe, the cameras, are they motion sensitive or are they just on all the time?
Motion.
You need night vision on them or?
Correct, yes.
questions for Joe?
No, Joe.
Hearing none. Chief Rideout, Fire Department.
Pretty quiet month for us. We only had 7 alarms in October, 2 auto accidents. Auto crash notifications was one. That's where someone loses their cell phone or hits the ground and we get dispatched for a car accident for it. We went mutually to Kinderhook once. We had a pile of pallets on fire down at the school, smoke investigation, and we stood by from the Lebanon once. All the mileage for our vehicles. We did 2 drills for the month. The first was a drill on chimney fires, and the second one was an EVOC drill, which gives all the operators of our apparatus the opportunity to drive a course that's set up on the fairgrounds to practice for the day, and people that are thinking about learning how to drive the apparatus so they can get a crash course on how to drive. It's all on the fairgrounds, out of traffic, and it's a pretty good time for them guys. I kind of held off on getting some of our trucks up to my shop to get serviced. Right now we're covering for Ghent. They have a truck out of service. So instead of each one of us having a truck out of service, we're holding off. But I can still get them in before the end of our season. We did Oktoberfest. The Chatham PTA did a trunk or treat we were involved with, and the Halloween festivities on Kinderhook Street. All the iPad mounting stuff has been delivered. It's in our station. The technician promises, and I know it's a Sunday, but he says he's coming this Sunday to install them all in the trucks so we can start using them. We've had them a few months now, and I'm the only one using one because we don't want to break them and smash them in the trucks yet. And then Metchwood Harder, our insurance company, there was 3 companies in the county that does business with Metchwood. It was us, the Village of Kinderhook, and the Mellonville Fire District, that they bought. They're called an emergency plug. They're for electric vehicles, so before we start messing with them at car fires or car accidents or anything like that, we put this emergency plug in the vehicle, and it's supposed to trick it that it's being charged so it can't come out of park and possibly injure somebody. Metchwood Harder bought 3 of them at like $1,500 a pop, and donated them to those 3 companies that do business with them. And we were fortunate enough to be one of them. And on a side note that I didn't put in my report because it just happened, there's 7 of us on a standby list right now to head south at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning to do a 12-hour stint at that brush fire that is down south. So we're not sure if we're going yet or not. I won't know till midnight tonight. But there's 7 of us that possibly will be leaving at 5 tomorrow morning. That's it for me.
Any questions for Chief Rideout? Thank you for all the efforts. I'll just add, next year when we do the EVOC training, I'll make an offer to anybody who'd like to learn how to drive here.
Yeah.
And bring your kids too. That's an insult. Believe it or not, we can train you. And really, all kidding aside, you get a real flavor for what, when we're spending $700,000 on a piece of apparatus, and some of the, ins and outs and what's involved, they just don't jump in and go. But the fairgrounds is a great venue to be able to go down there and get a feel for that stuff. DPW, I don't think Phil sent us anything, correct? Couple of items, doing this on my feet here. Leaf pickup is ahead of schedule because it was so dry, all the leaves fell off quick. Generally we run till the 1st of December or the first snow, which is generally any time. We're looking good for the next week or so. The high winds in the last week or so brought a lot of leaves down. So last week they were running 2 trucks at a time, and they were doing a heck of a job. And I heard a lot of good compliments that they're getting it done. It's dirty work. It's monotonous, but it generally runs about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and we're a week ahead of schedule. I believe they have under schedule they'll start taking the American flags down probably maybe the end next and start with holiday decorations. They have water reads to do this week, starting tomorrow. So between 2 guys doing water reads, 3 guys doing leaves, and then Phil doing some administrative work. On the sewer end of things, the project, the UV project has started with some bumps in the road, which we just found out. It's a 2 or 3 phase project, and Flack is the contractor that's overseeing the project, general contractor. The Morton company that's doing the building, they found some issues with some of the work Flack has done. So Labella's is working that out. That's not on us, it's not gonna cost us any money. They're sorting through it, so they're still waiting for some equipment, so they really haven't got going. They've started the project, but not much has been done. And that's not to be, I mean, that happens from time to time. And again, there's some resolutions here in the tail end. We've sold some surplus equipment, which we got a pretty good dollar for. We'll talk about that. I don't think is there anything, Des, if you think of anything that Phil, I think that pretty much covers it for now. We need a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the October 2024 budgets to actuals. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Approve, second.
Second.
New business, resolution 172, to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a CDPHP New York State Small Group Recertification for dental health insurance, January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Again, to certify that we are eligible for small group rates. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
173, to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the MVP New York State Small Group Recertification for medical health. And again, from January 2025 to December 2025. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
174, to approve the renewal of MVP Liberty Silver 3 EPO medical health insurance plan effective January 1st, 2025, at an increase of $16,024.08, approximately 13.7% higher than last year. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
We talked about this last month. It's just a sign of the times. Contractually, we have to, if we were going to switch, and Brown & Brown, who's our broker, looked around, and there's really nothing that matches this particular program. We have to provide the same coverage in kind, and this is the one we've had, and unfortunately, the costs are rising.
It's like that everywhere, yeah. For schools.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
175, to approve the renewal of CDPHP Delta Dental Insurance, again from January 1st, 2025, with no change in benefits and no increase in premiums from last year. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We won't belabor that. 176, to authorize the mayor to sign a renewal agreement for administrative services, health reimbursement account between Brown & Brown Insurance and the Village of Chet for the term from January 1st, 2025 to December 25, with no changes from the current agreement. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 177, to approve the CPD, Chatham PD purchase of a 2025 Dodge Durango PPV from Central Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Rainham, in the amount of $50,866.03 per quote bid TB 5130 dated 11/6/2024. It includes sunbelt fitting. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Joe, just comment on that, please, with the bid process.
Yep, so we followed the New York State mini bid process, so these vendors are on New York State contract. The process used to be that you basically offloaded it to New York State OGS. They didn't like to spend manpower managing it, so they basically created a process for you to do yourself. They produced a list of approved vendors, and they produce all the documents that you need. and you basically just send the email yourself and get the bids back. We got a total of 4 bids, and they were all within the same range. The Central Chrysler dealer had the best value for what we're getting, and that's why we are recommending that one. Some upfitting items include the cage that's in the back between the driver and the back seat, and the bumper. It was cheaper to go through them for those 2 items than to go through our standard upfitter, is what we basically found. So we saved a little bit of money using them to do those 2 items versus the upfitter that we'll talk about in a couple lines.
So we got a motion and a second, just I want to make sure this is all budgeted, that this is within budget.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
178, to approve the purchase of a police car radio for $1,310.25 from River Valley Radio per the quote dated 11/5/2024, and it's the radio only, not the install. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
A second.
Second.
Any other comments, Joe? You want to add anything to that?
It's straight hardware, yep, and it's on New York State contract.
All in favor?
Aye.
179, to approve upfitting of the CPD 2025 Dodge Durango for $11,700.96 by Red Line Performance per quote 818111 dated 10/14/2024. They are going to install the radio. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Joe, anything to add to that?
Same standard process to follow procurement. We did 3 written quotes. The Red Line was the lowest quote provided.
Any questions for Joe? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 180 to designate Oswald Street as a local traffic-only street. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
After last month's meeting, we had some citizens here that brought up some issues with that intersection. We'll talk a little bit more as we get into this. Joe's done a lot of research on this, and this is one method to get to the end result. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have signage ready to go?
Phil, it's just a matter of it there, too. We have a sign company in Albany.
Okay.
Good question. He deals with it, they punch him out all the time.
Okay.
He might even have some.
Yeah.
That's how he pulls things off the wall, and it's like, where'd that come from?
So all
So
of
what's the
Oswald
actual
Street, or
effect
just
of
that really terrible hill?
Oswald Street, the entire street would be local traffic only.
John, what's the actual effect of that?
Joe?
So the issue is that Waze and Google Maps is routing people down Oswald Street onto 295 or Spring Street there. So by designating it local traffic only, we can get Waze and Google to stop using that street for through traffic, which decreases the likelihood of accidents coming down that hill.
What they're doing is the Google and whatever the other one is taking them off the Parkway to go to Albany. Instead of going up to B2 or whatever, and they're coming down to 61 over Oswald Street through Chatham Center. Because that's how GPS tells them. If we establish local traffic only, we can have them take it off.
That's great.
So that's basically the effect of this.
Good question. People.
It doesn't actually affect someone who wants to use it for any purpose, though. It just takes.
No.
We can stop those MapQuest items from using that as a route, the shortest, quickest route.
We had that last winter when that lady got taken off the Parkway in a snowstorm, and they brought her down the street,
Yeah.
down that street.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of that? Resolution 181 to authorize the CPD to request a traffic study of Oswald Street and Spring Street intersection from New York State DOT. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Joe, explain that.
Yep, so I talked with New York State DOT safety group, and this is the first step to getting them to start their study. Simultaneously, I'm going to be putting together the same information that they would get: accidents, issues that we have with that intersection, line of sight stuff, and then we will, on our side, we'll use our local politicians to push that issue so that when we get to the state side, we have additional resources to kind of move them through, whether it's changing visibility there, whether it's changing speed limit there, whatever that may come out to. but this is that first step to getting them to start that study. They won't start that study unless the board is on board with that, and that's what this resolution does, is, says that you want to do that study there, and please do that study.
I think it's important, people that brought up the issue aren't here tonight, but I think it's important from our perspective that we listen to them. And, okay, see, we had conversation immediately thereafter, and Joe started that process. It's going to take a little while, but we started it. We're going to, have some tangible data, and there are some real issues, and then one of the driving points are the rail trail comes through, and that's a shared roadway with bicycles. It's just going to compound the problem, and we want to get ahead of it.
And there was an accident there with injuries, I think 24 hours later after our meeting, I think Tuesday night, there was an accident right there at that intersection,
So it's time.
Yeah, great, thank you.
All
That's really.
all in favor?
Aye.
The next resolution, 182, I'm not going to read.
Thank you.
But basically, NICOM has requested us, all the municipalities, to write to our legislators and the governor's office to hold the state funding at least where it is, and then if not, increase it. And this is part of, they want a resolution from each municipality. That's what this is to hold the AIM funding at the local, at the current level, if not increase it. And it's set has been increased in 15 years. That's $50 million. We're looking for an increase. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
183, to approve transfer of funds in the amount of $86 from line 51104.01 general repairs contraction 51104.01 general repairs office to cover the cost of emails and Office 365 installation for the DPW computer. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
184, to approve the transfer of funds in the amount of, $3,000 from line 31204.01 police child seat grant to 31204.01 police supplies and materials to cover the cost of ammo purchase from the town of Skodak for training purposes. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Joe, comment?
This is basically balancing my budget line. So in that ammo purchase that we had last month, the savings of 60%, my budget line didn't have enough in it, so this is just balancing my budget line between my two lines.
All in favor?
Aye.
185, to approve the use of funds in the Hudson and Houseman Avenue Water Main Reserve Fund in the amount of $4,859.03 to cover invoices for purchases made from September to October, which were applied to the village budget line 83402 transmission equipment, and is reflected as item G on the October budget to actual report. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Trish, we don't know, but this should be about the end of that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I did ask that in that one email, I didn't get a response, but I can reach out again and just,
So we're just tightening up, finishing up that Hudson Avenue water project. All in favor?
Aye.
186, to amend the budget for the use of unappropriated fund balance, whereas the Board of Trustees resolved on January 8th of 2024 to use the unappropriated fund balance to fund a project known as Chatham Municipal Well Assessment Mandatory Redundant Water Supply. And it goes on, whereas below village section 5-520, appropriation of necessary funds may be made by transferring available funds for the unappropriated fund balance of the water fund, and such unappropriated fund balance contains sufficient funds for such appropriation as transfer, and you can read the rest of it. We're just moving some money out around for this. This project is not done. Can I get a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
We've had a couple of meetings with Lubellas. The process continues. A couple of the sites didn't come out as well as we'd hoped. They went back and they were looking at additional sites, and I think we have more on the discussion end of this regarding that. But why we're on it right now. Phil's determined, they've determined 3 or 4 sites that look good in an aquifer. They made a proposal and they're going to get us something on paper, probably for the December meeting, what the cost would be to go in and do some core drilling and sampling. In the meantime, Phil save us some money because he thinks adjacent to some of these areas where they want to go drill, there are already wells there. It's just a matter of testing those wells, and if the well's good, then we'll drill. If it's no good, there's no sense of spending money to drill on something that's going to come back no good. And Phil has also offered to go back to the Shore Road site and do some additional testing. We had one test that came back negative, and we want to. There's some things that may have caused that to happen that can be engineered out without a lot of effort. And rather than have the well company come back and go through the process, Phil says I can do it myself. And he's got somebody that's offered from a lab company to come in and do the testing for us. So stay tuned. All in favor?
Aye.
187 to authorize the Farmer's Daughters 2025 bike race to be held in the village on Sunday, May 18th, 2025. Now, that is, if we approve this pending receipt of a signed contract and insurance certificate. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
What has happened since we've done these in the past is our insurance carrier, Nymer, is now requesting written contracts anytime we're closing streets. I don't care if it's Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and whomever is closing it to provide certificates of insurance, naming the village insured. Not a bad thing. In this case, the promoter has already been in touch with us. He wants to be able to start putting it out for entries in December. They draw about 1,500 people. And we're working in the meantime to get a contract. Joe brought something together, threw it over to Ken. Ken's going to need some time to digest it. And once we do, we'll run it by the insurance company. So we still have time for them to be able to do this. Does that make sense? All in favor? 188 to authorize CAPA for the use of the front steps of the Tracy or inside and arranged for December 14th Winterfest. And they generally have a performance by McCain Theater Singers for approximately from 1:30 to 3:30. We've got a certificate of liability from them. Motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? 189 to authorize CAPA to use the gazebo on Saturday the 14th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Winterfest. Again, certificates included. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
190 to authorize the Wildcats Pop Warner football use of the upstairs Tracy on Tuesday, 12/3/24 at 5:30 for their board nominations and elections, and that's pending the receipt of an insurance certificate, which I think they've done in the past, correct? So we just have to wait on that. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Just bear with me a second here. I don't want to do things 3 times. We've had a little snafu, and I don't know whether it's the same group. It was a different youth group than this particular one. Was it the same group with the keys?
The key was same.
Okay. They came here a year ago and they wanted to use like this conference room once a month for meetings, and we said fine. And so we issued a key to the front door so nobody had to be here all the time. And then they weren't here all summer long, and then they're coming back, now they don't have a key, so they can't find it. I got an issue with that, because there's things going on here beyond just this conference room. So we told them they'd have to hold, they wanted to meet before this meeting, and we said, so we went and changed the lock, and got all new keys. I don't know when that lock was, there could be 3,000 keys out there from that old lock. Desiree's tightened it up, got a spreadsheet, the keys are numbered, they're authorized, they're handed out, PD has so many of them, whoever's got them, it's signed for. We also have the system in the back, it's a code system, where it's a possibility we could give them a code and then take the code out, which I think I'd rather do that than having to change the key system.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to these people, but I think they got the message. If they haven't, they will get the message that they have to be a little more responsible. And I think if we offer, we can do the code right, Sam, just put a code in there for them and then take it out. Now with the security system we have here, I feel a little more confident that that would work. Joe, you got a problem with that? Well,
No.
okay. Okay. All in favor? 191. to accept the highest bid amount of $39,000 through Auctions International for the sale of a 2017 Dodge Ram 5500 dump with plow and stainless steel sander. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second. We generally do this with our surplus equipment, and it goes through Auctions International. The buyer pays the premium. We don't, we get the full price. They put it on for like a month. Actually, Phil threw darts at a wall, and he was looking for about $33,000. Just guesstimating from looking at what everything was going for, there's one for $39,000.
Sweet.
So, we've got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
192 to accept the lowest, the highest bid, an amount of $880, again, through auctioneer for the sale of a 2012 Olympia 150 kW generator. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
It's $880 for a generator the motor blew up on, so they're getting a great deal. The motor doesn't, it's basically $880 for scrap. That's fine, all in favor?
Aye.
193 to accept the highest bid of $1,025 for the sale of 6 22.5 truck tires. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
The kicker on that is these are tires off of fire trucks because NFPA requires them to change, what, 5 or 7 years?
7 years.
Every 7 years, if those tires have 10 miles on them, they have to be changed. So these truckers, these dump truck guys, well, they'll take them in a heartbeat because they got a lot of tread on them. That's a good deal. All in favor?
Aye.
The next resolution we're gonna pull, we've got one quote for painting, another one's pending. He didn't get back to us. I think the first quote we had runs around $15,000. In fact, the fact that it's that much, I would like to see another quote or two, so we're gonna table that one. Items for discussion, we talked about redundant water supply, I'm not gonna talk anymore about it. American Legion letter, they requested that, they've done a program you see in a lot of communities where the Legion will sponsor these banners for veterans, whether they go out, raise the funds or whatever, and they want to know if the village would be willing to put them up on the poles. Talked to Phil a little bit, not getting a warm, fuzzy feeling, but the fact is a lot of communities do it. It wouldn't be like on Main Street where we're switching up the holiday banners.
Yeah.
This would be something on Hudson Avenue, maybe Kindle Street, Woodbridge Avenue.
I just remember when we did those graduation banners, it was a pain for,
Yeah.
like, they got nice, they put them up, so, but
So,
a lot of communities are doing it.
they are, and I've been beat up pretty hard on that I didn't support the veterans. Somebody came to me waving a picture of my face, and it's like, if you don't know, take a step back. That's not, we can't spend taxpayers' money to go out and buy banners, but if you want to do that, as these other communities do, we will figure it out. So, just stay tuned on that.
Okay, good.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sewer upgrade project, New York State, what was it, EFC, 2024 refinance savings. Tricia explained that to me because I'm still confused. They contacted us and there was something we had to do and they refinanced this is the sewer plant project, which was 4 or 5 years ago, 5 maybe, and was due to run through 2041.
Correct,
Just want to
right.
touch base on that.
Yeah, it's just they reached out to us and I asked them what this was for because I had never seen it before. And finally they said, somewhere in their letter it said, contact your bond counsel. So we reached out to her and she worked with Ken to get the whole thing working in the right direction. And basically it's, you kind of have no choice. They pick a whole bunch of people who are municipalities that are already paying on bonds and they kind of lump them for a lower rate. And so we were able to take advantage of that lower rate and over the life of it, we're gonna save about $1 million.
Awesome.
That's,
Cool.
unfortunately, a lot of the public doesn't see that. And, 2041 to me is like, holy crap, But the point is we're looking out for everybody's money here and this is, generally everything increases. So this is $1 million savings over the life. Thank you for that. The next one's a county transportation survey. I've been involved working with the county. They have a committee and working with town of Gannett, town of Chatham, town of Lebanon. received money from the senator and the assembly member's office. I can't remember how much it was in Hudson, for some press release a few months ago. To seed money to spearhead this. This is one of the first steps. They're sending a survey out to the community. We have it online. We've taken it to High Point, to Chatham Manor, the food pantry, DSS and Hudson. And they're getting some positive feedback to see what people's needs are, transportation-wise. So that's just FYI, and if anybody asks, Desiree can make up hard copies or whatever we've offered to go over to the manor and stuff and pick them up. You can do it online, but that's all good stuff. Columbia County occupancy tax bill signed by the Government Implementation Committee is working with Granicus on a rollout the tax program to be built county-specific program for address identification. The county's been working on this short-term rental occupancy tax. I don't know all the dynamics of it, but I was asked if the village would be interested. We haven't signed on, but yes, I wouldn't say we're not interested, because if we don't take it, the town's going to take it all anyhow. But this company they're contracting with is going to go out and supposedly they can identify where and whom and how many of these are. So when you get a baseline, and they can start to factor in what the cost or what the tax would be and how much it may generate. There's a lot of communities that are doing this. This is a county-wide rollout. We don't have to buy into it, but again, that's money we're going to leave on the table because they're going to do it. Any questions about that? Again, I don't have a lot of information. As I get it, I'll try to kick it out to everybody. And not to go home, it's another one, is a letter of intent to be certified New York State as a pro-housing community. Again, I'm going to send a letter that, we'd like to be certified as New York State as a pro-housing community, and there's some funding that could be available going down the line for, lower income, middle income. And anytime something like that comes out, I think it's important that we get on board. And again, no commitment on our part. Going through all that, this is the second public comment period. If anybody would like to comment, for your first endeavor here. There's sometimes we have some very spirited conversations, and I kind of encourage that, because as you can see, there's some things here that happened that I wish everybody had, and we'll try to get it out in our newsletters and stuff, saving $1 million. Some of these other items here, the traffic study. So this all came from grassroots. And there's a lot on our table, and if people don't bring their issues to us, keep us right, under fire, things don't get done. I like to think we try to be proactive, and all the departments and office staff and the board. I think we all try to get that done. Hearing nothing else, we do have to go to adjourn the meeting, go to an executive session regarding pending or possible litigation. So thank everybody for being here. And, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Go to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll turn the camera on.